Welcome back. A BJP MLA from Karnataka has added fuel to fire. During the ongoing assembly session, BJP MLA SR Vishwanath stoked controversy with his vicious remarks against people who have come to the state from outside, especially those from the north. Citing certain criminal incidents allegedly involving people from Bihar and Nepal, the BJP leader drew a conclusion that majority of crimes are committed by the outsiders. He further dared the government to eliminate such people, saying his party will support such a quote-unquote encounter action. This not just plays into hate and negative stereotypes. Instead, the outsider debate in Bengaluru revolves around the perception of Kannadigas versus outsiders, often fueled by language, cultural differences, and economic anxieties, including concerns about resource allocation and job opportunities. Let's listen in first to what the MLA said.
ಇವತ್ತು ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಮೊನ್ನೆ ನೇಪಾಳದವರು ಲಾಲ್ ಬಾಗಲ್ಲಿ ಹಿಡ್ಕೊಂಡು ಲೋಕಲ್ ಅನ್ನು ಹೊಡೆದಾಕವ್ರೆ. ಮೊನ್ನೆ ಕೋರಮಂಗಲದಲ್ಲಿ ಹೋಳಿ ಹಬ್ಬದಲ್ಲಿ ಮರ್ಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಯಾರು ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಬಿಹಾರ್ನವರು. ಇವತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲ ಮ್ಯಾಕ್ಸಿಮಮ್ ಕ್ರೈಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥವ್ರು ಹೊರಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ಬಂದಿರ್ತಕ್ಕಂಥವ್ರು. ಯಾಕೆ ನೀವು ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಮುಲಾಜ್ ನೋಡ್ತೀರಿ? ಬರೀ ಬಲಗಾಲಿಗೆ ಗುಂಡೋಡ್ಸೋದಲ್ಲ, ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಮೇಲೆ ಆರ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗ್ತದೆ ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅವ್ರು ರಕ್ಷಣೆ ಕೊಡುವಂತ ಕೆಲಸನ ನೀವು ಮಾಡಬೇಕು.
I'm being joined by GS Prashanth, who's a BJP spokesperson, Deepak Thimmaiah, who's a Congress spokesperson, Sandeep Anuruddhan, who's a founder for Citizens Agenda for Bengaluru, as well as Ellen Rao, who's a former DCP for Delhi. Thank you very much, all four of you, for joining me. Well, first, let me just get in GS Prashanth. GS Prashanth, how do you look at your MLA, your colleagues' statement?
See, firstly, as BJP, we will not make any distinction between a person from Karnataka, a person from Andhra, or a person from Bihar, because everybody are from Bharat. And there is no two things about it, and we as party stand by it. And coming to the context in which probably Mr. Vishwanath made that statement, he was referring to the incidents that have taken place in Karnataka in the past couple of years, like torching police stations, where people of particular community only landed up there, torched the police stations. Then when cooker bomb suspects were nabbed, Parameshwara never wanting them to even be called as terrorists, then DK Shivkumar was calling them as brothers. So these incidents which have happened in Karnataka in the last 22 months, highlighting the lax in law and order, probably has prompted the MLA to make that statement in a context to say that you are not upholding the law and order, and this state is becoming a free for all, especially for criminal activities. This is the intent, and this is the fact that Karnataka is faring very badly in terms of maintenance of law and order. And I don't think anybody can complain or revert.
Okay.
They're saying that, look, Karnataka is doing very well. No, you look at the statistics in the last 2 years, how bad we have been and the number of incidents. Right from the Jain monk murder case.
We'll get to the statistics. We'll get to the statistics. We'll get to the statistics.
Assault cases.
We'll get to the statistics, Mr. Prashanth, but this isn't about statistics alone. This is also about tone, tenor, and the words that are used by an elected representative, which is quite in contrast to what you are claiming of what BJP believes. So let me just read out what your MLA has spoken. He, of course, mentioned about the police station attacking cases. Well, and then he went on to say some people from Nepal beat up our locals in Lal Bagh. On Holi, a man from Bihar committed a murder. Then he goes on to say the maximum crimes today are being committed by those who have come from outside. What obligation do you have to them? Why are you just shooting them on the right leg? Shoot them a little higher. What will happen? You mustn't protect them. And then he started all of this with an encounter claim. GS Prashanth, let's plain talk here. Do you support what your MLA has said? Do you not?
It's not about, you have to look at the context in which it was made. When you talk about metaphors, when somebody says a cat has 9 lives, you really mean that a cat will live 9 times? No. So therefore, to say that, is this a statement? The intent is very clear. The law and order in Karnataka is at its lowest.
The maximum crimes today are being committed by those who have come from outside. Do you believe this? Do you believe this? This doesn't have any context. This is very, very plainly stated. The maximum crimes today are being committed by those who have come from outside. What is BJP's stand on this?
Any crime committed by anybody who commits crime in any part of the country is liable to be tried. There's no doubt about it. If the context is that some Rohingyas have come and committed crimes here, you have to take them to task. Probably the mechanism that he was suggesting is not right, but the law has to take its own course. At the same time, police should not be supporting the Rohingyas or the Nepali
You haven't answered my
people who come
question.
here.
You haven't answered my question. I'm asking you a very simple question. He's saying maximum crimes are being done by outsiders. Do you support that? You have chosen not to answer that question of mine. Deepak Thimmaiah, please come in.
He has made a statement.
BJP is
on the floor
arguing
of the
it's an
House.
utter
He has made a
failure
statement
of law and order. Sir, I gave you a lot of time. GS Prashanth, I gave you a lot of time. I gave you a lot of time. GS Prashanth, I came to you consecutively 3 times just for you to answer that one question. Now, I'm moving over to Deepak Thimmaiah. Deepak, please respond.
See, at one point when it's convenient, it's Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, Mata cha Parvati Devi, Pita Devo Maishwara, what do you say, Swadesho Bhuvanaptrayam. But when it comes to, things not being very convenient, it's about them, these and so on. And if Mr. Prashanth knows, 99% of the Nepalis who are in Bangalore are Hindus. And there is no question about that. And he's speaking particularly about Hindus in the sense, if Mr. Prashanth has been bringing
Deepak
up
Thimmaiah, don't bring in religion.
Muslims
You are making it worse.
people.
You literally are making it worse.
Why?
The BJP MLA has said something. Now you're bringing in Hindus also, sir.
No,
He has spoken about outsiders and insiders. Now you're making another angle of religion as well.
All the incidents where Muslims were accused of, Ms.
Deepak Thimmaiah, respond to what the issue really is, Deepak Thimmaiah. Let's just face it for what it is.
Let me tell you, we are not speaking about Muslims or Hindus, like you said. All people in this country and Nepalis are not.
Deepak Thimmaiah, I'm coming back to you again. You just completely lost the plot and brought in another plot. Is that your official response to what the speech by the MLA is? Is that Deepak Thimmaiah? Hold on, GS Prashanth. Deepak Thimmaiah, is this your official line? Is this your party's line to a question? Hold on, GS Prashanth, hold on. Deepak Thimmaiah, the response that you have given on air, right? Both of you are not hearing. There's no point of this. GS Prashanth, I don't want to mute you. Please don't do this. Deepak Thimmaiah, you'll have to listen to me. Both of you, please, I humbly request you. Deepak Thimmaiah, I want to know one answer. The response that you gave at this point, is that your party's official response? Is that your party's official stand? Because when I'm asking you a statement that is being made by a BJP MLA in the assembly, you are dragging in religion.
What according to you is what I said? Mr. Prashanth said, he was mentioning about the Mysore incident. He was talking about the Jain incident. He was talking about so many incidents. He was basically referring to a particular community in whose case he actually alleges that the Karnataka government has been going soft. So I said it is not about religion. That's what I was trying to tell you. I was not trying to say that
so what is
the
this
Muslims
about?
have done it or Hindus
Come
have
to the
done
next
it.
point.
I said it
Take
is
this
about,
forward. What is this about?
We are not
what
in
is
favor
this about?
of
What do you
anybody
see
as
the
an
MLA's
outsider,
words
Hindu
about?
or Muslim. That's what we are trying to say. That's all that I'm trying to tell you. Don't bring the Muslim thing even into this.
Congress is very clear. Congress always has a problem wherever the word Hindu is used. Congress has a problem with it. Because we know what they have done.
I am a Hindu myself.
Given a budget,
I'm a Hindu myself, Mr. Prashanth.
Okay, gentlemen, this is gentlemen, both of you. Mr. Prashanth as well as Mr. Deepak, I mean, this is unfortunate to what you're bringing this down to. Honestly, this had so much more to talk about it, but as representatives of parties, if you're choosing to bring this down to what it is, then I think viewers are well versed with what they want to make out of this. Hold it. Let me just go to the other two panelists at this point. We will leave GS Prashanth as well as Deepak Thimmaiah. GS Prashanth, hold it. GS Prashanth, please hold it. Let me just get in Ellen Rao. Ellen Rao, at this point, as a person who has served in the police forces, let's just get in the crime rates first. Let's just get in the graphics on the crime rates. There obviously seems to be an increase in the crime rates that's there in Bengaluru, from 40% to 45% for the different categories, and we should have it up anytime. Ellen Rao, how do you look at this is it that people who are coming from outside, who are not locals, non-locals essentially, are they largely the perpetrators of crime, or is this just a very politically convenient stand to take?
Good evening, ma'am. And let me tell you very clearly that the crime graph and the crime analysis all depends upon what the statement is being given, whether it's perpetrators are from outside Bengaluru or not from there. It all depends because every police has their own research and analysis wing. They keep on doing research, and all crime figures are being analyzed time to time. It all depends upon what the crime figures are in Bangalore. But I must tell you that the outsiders definitely, if they are from Bangladesh or Myanmar or some other country or some other Rohingyas like that, there is a tendency that these type of people tend to do crime much more than what they are the residents of that particular Karnataka or Bengaluru are there. That is a slightly different.
So
that
we are
they
not
do
talking
some more
about
crime.
Rohingyas and so on and
That is
so
what
forth. Sir, no,
that's
the
what I'm
MLA has
saying
spoken
about
about
the
Bihar and
Delhi.
Nepal. I mean, there is no Rohingyas in this whole context. I don't understand where is that coming from. I'm asking you a very simple question. Statistically, is it locals versus outsiders when it comes to crime? Rhetoric can wait. I'm asking you statistically, sir.
No, crime depends upon the persons who are living there, whether they are from outside or they are living outside. But in most of the cases, when I see the crime figure in Delhi, then we find that some persons from other outside states, they come and commit crime and go there, go back. That is in some cases. I'm talking about Delhi scenario. In Delhi, we have found that some other persons, other states.
So in Delhi, are you saying
maybe
locals are not part of the crime? Locals do not
They
commit
are part
crimes.
of
It's
the crime.
outsiders
No,
largely
I'm
who do
not
the
saying,
crime. Is that what you're
ma'am, I'm
saying?
not saying that. I'm not saying that. Locals are also involved in crime. I don't claim that they are not. They are innocent. Definitely, they are also. But
Okay.
sometimes some
Okay.
outsiders also commit crime and go there. That is also there. But we have to see with the analysis of the crime figures. And in that analysis, everything is mentioned. Whether
Sandeep
it's
Aniruddhan, you live in Bengaluru, Sandeep Aniruddhan. How do you look at this outsider versus locals, outsider versus insider narrative when it comes to crimes?
Sneha, simply put, is just a joke. If you really look at how the growth of the city is happening,
It's just a... I'm sorry, I didn't
it
hear.
suits these MLAs a lot because, as you know, Bengaluru is going through a phase of unplanned development that it's never seen. Every single building that's being constructed right now is illegal. And who builds these? It's the illegal immigrants, migrants. Who are the ones who invest in those buildings? It's largely outsiders. Right now, there's this trend, there's this whole phenomenon we call the PG slums. They're coming up in all the peripheral areas of the city. In some parts, it's even come into the main CBD areas. They're all funded and constructed by Andhra builders. Now, why don't these MLAs talk against those Andhra builders? Because these Andhra builders fill their pockets. Because every single building is illegal, they pay bribes to construct it. Then it suits them. But the migrants who come and live in impoverished conditions, none of these builders provide even the basic amenities for these builders, to these workers. Those workers are housed in the very constructions that are being constructed. They live in semi-constructed buildings, which is illegal. They are at the risk of dying even in their sleep. You remember the building collapsed, an under construction building collapsed just 4 months back, and then the government said we will stop all illegal constructions. It has not happened. Not a single illegal construction has been stopped after that. There are thousands. So this phenomenon is all interlinked. All these illegal constructions that are happening, all these MLAs and the government closing their eyes to it, and obviously a whole lot of impoverished migrant labor living in extremely bad conditions, constructing these, and obviously it will lead to some crimes. People living in extremely bad conditions will end up fighting. They will have extremely high levels of frustration, and it will happen. But the point is, the city is not facilitating planned development. Who's responsible? It is the same MLAs. They have not implemented the 74th Amendment. We don't have a Metropolitan Planning Committee. The last 30 years, we've not had a master plan. And our city is still not following the 74th Amendment mandate of having a decentralized, devolved, elected city government. We don't even have elections to the city. Now, these things, the MLAs have no problems with. And then they collaborate in all these illegalities and briberies and scams that are happening. And the outcomes are these. This they have a problem with. So I think lawlessness at the top has to stop first. Everything else will take care of itself. That they're not doing.
GS Prashanth, please respond. Please respond to what you've just heard. Sandeep Anuradhan, who lives in Bengaluru, he's saying these narratives are just convenient politics.
See, Sneha, I can probably understand from where Mr. Sandeep is talking about, saying the elections to BBMP have not taken place and the Greater Bengaluru bill has come. See, they are happening. Those issues are happening and the elections will happen. I'm sure the Congress also is wanting to have the elections for the BBMP going forward. So I don't think that any political party here is averse to having elections, and the elections will happen. I think the matter is also in the court, depending on the Greater Bengaluru, because Congress has now divided into 7 corporations, which is not legal, which is not proper. It is not. So therefore, it is taking longer than expected. When BJP revised from 198 wards to 243, Congress immediately got a stay and then reduced it to 225. Then they said they will do some caste census. So Congress has also used all the tools in its playbook to ensure that elections are not held. So therefore, now that the elections would be held in the near future, the issues that Sandeep was talking about, the governance would be taken care of there. But insofar as other issues is concerned, whether
no, he's also talking
Vishwanath
about
talks
connivance
about
of
Bihari,
MLAs
whether
in
Vishwanath talks about a
corruption.
Bihari
This
person,
is across
or
party
Sandeep
lines.
talks about a builder from Andhra,
He's talking
we are
about
not
across party
distinguishing
lines.
anybody from Bharat here. We are not distinguishing between people of Bharat anywhere. Anybody who commits a crime, whether he's from Bihar, Andhra, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu,
But
has
that's
to
what
face
your
the
MLA
law.
did.
Has
That's
to
what your
face the
MLA
law
did.
in the same manner. But you can't extend the same olive
Your
branch
MLA
like
did
Congress
that.
extended to Ajmal Kasab. If infiltrators come to our nation and wage
Hold
war on
it,
us,
hold
we
it,
cannot
hold it,
be
hold it. GS
wanting
Prashanth,
to give them
that's what
serve
your
them biryani.
MLA did. I am repeating myself because I'm being very courteous, GS Prashanth. But despite being courteous and repeating again and again, you're not listening to me. A very simple thing, your MLA did just that. He differentiated outside and insiders vis-a-vis even Indians, because he also quotes in the instances that have happened, not just Nepalese, but also and even Biharis for that matter. And he says most of the people who are coming from outside. So what is this about then? You are saying BJP does not differentiate between Bharatiya. That's what your MLA has said. I don't understand this. Either condemn what your MLA has said. You're not condemning also, GS Prashanth.
No, Sneha, it's a statement made on the floor of the House. If the statement is found to be wrong or illegal, only the Speaker of the House has got the right to move the privilege motion. He has to issue the notice. That is how, because any lawmaker, for any statement that he makes on the floor of the House, the Speaker of the House will have the power to issue a show cause notice to him and seek explanation. That is point number 1. And insofar as BJP stand is concerned, we will not differentiate between citizens of Bharat at any given point in time. All of them are equal for us, and we will treat them with equal dignity.
But your MLA has done that. Deepak Thimmaiah, your MLA has not treated everyone with equal dignity. Let's just face it at that. He's even spoken about encounters and eliminating them. I mean, that's not dignity by any means. But Deepak Thimmaiah, how do you respond to this? Is the Congress going to take this up in the Assembly? Is there going to be a breach of privilege motion or an adjournment motion that is going to be sought on this?
There's a point in what Mr. Prashanth has said, because this basically it was said in the floor of the Assembly. And I'm sure that, there are other learned members of other parties also. And whatever that he has said his privilege to express his opinion, as long as, it is within the rules of, the conduct of the House. And as long as he's not saying that is completely illegal. But he has expressed his opinion, and he said, why don't you shoot it a little above? But let me tell you, violence is something that a lot of politicians have been propagating these days, like, saying that for conversion you have to bring in death penalty without even knowing there's a constitution in the country, and the constitution very clearly stipulates that, what is the right of an individual in terms of being a human being. So I think that, the members have to be extremely careful. It's not just about the BJP or the Congress. And let me tell you, here we are talking about the Nepalese and the Rohingyas and the Biharis. It's not the same thing. Nepal is a different country altogether. And just because, I mean, they are Nepalis, we can't say that, Rohingyas are different, and Nepalis are different, Pakistanis are different. Any foreigner is different. But let me tell you, the rule has to be the same. I agree with Mr. Prashanth and the others also. We have to be careful. There's this fear that the outsiders come in, they can commit crime and run away. And it's so difficult to go behind them. And if at all, more and more people who come from outside without the identity cards, in some of the cases, they would have even changed their names. You know that as a journalist. They would have even changed their names. They may not even have the identity proofs. And if they come and start committing crimes, it will become extremely difficult for the people of Karnataka to survive. So keep that in mind. Maybe that he has spoken wrongly, which is very wrong. If at all he is calling for violence against people, I'm sure that Mr. Prashanth will agree. Calling for violence is not allowed in the floor of any assembly of any house. Yes. But let me tell you one thing. There are concerns of Kannadigas about, the so-called
But my question is this.
Is
Is the Congress going to take this up in the assembly? You haven't answered that yet, sir.
I'm sure that there are, I said, the learned people in the assembly. I'm sure they will respond to him, what he has said. Nobody is going to go scot-free. I'm sure we are all patriotic people and we like Karnataka also. Karnataka has been a very, very peaceful state with very, very honorable people. But you should also keep in mind the concern of the people, ordinary people, that if people don't even have identities, they come from wherever, they commit crime and they just disappear, it becomes extremely difficult. That way the outsider-insider story becomes a little sensitive, Ms. Koshy. Please keep that in mind.
All right, so let's just... I think we're totally out of time, but GS Prashanth as well as Deepak Thimmaiah, thank you very much for joining us. This is a very sensitive issue by all means, and I think words matter, particularly when they come from elected representatives. Sandeep, Anuruddhan, thank you very much for your perspective. Thank you all three of you for your time.
Thank you.